Just got out of a meeting that we held to talk a little bit about consistency around professional development or proficiency-based instruction, how we want to support proficiency-based instruction in CBOs and in district, and then also in multiple pathways. So our agenda was to look at proficiency-based instruction, what kinds of things are already going on, and think about what are the alignments that we want to see in terms of learning targets, assessments, Common Core. Julie Smith was able to then present some information to us about the work that she's been doing with CBOs and really getting schools and teachers that come with different levels of readiness to be ready to move forward together, identifying some core definitions for their work, facilitating a process. She's facilitating a process and helping move them towards goals. And the teachers are really doing a lot of heavy lifting around identifying what they want to have in terms of proficiency and doing research, and just now beginning to start to have those questions about how will my class look different. They're looking at Common Core, the purpose of Common Core in the college and career readiness standards, the 9th, 10th grade strands, comparing that to what's going on in Boston, and thinking about how we really get at higher thinking even if students have low skill levels. They've been focusing on algebra and reading, thinking about now how to create common formative assessments, and having teachers think about the assessment itself. Why are they creating the assessment? What will it measure? Having a philosophical struggle with the expectations as the expectations are increasing, and what does that mean for the students in CBOs? And thinking about how do they record some post-secondary readiness data, like the Compass scores and whatnot, on their report card. In algebra within the district, Julie Ryerson shared that what we've been doing, even with limited access to some of our high schools, the work that we've been working on with math leaders, and that there are pockets within schools that are doing great work, independent of what we're doing centrally, that we have already identified measurement topics and learning targets for algebra and use those as a tool to get into what we want to see in terms of mathematical practices and instructional shifts. And that currently the high school syllabus reflects the standards that we would want to have seen within a class. Based on this, we had looked at some of the conversations that were in common, and that what is our alignment and where do we want to move to. We want to move to some higher level, higher thinking work, particularly around our Quad D work. Move forward in getting teachers to think about what does proficiency grading, what does Common Core, what do learning targets mean for them in their classroom and what they do in their class, what are formative assessments, what is meaningful feedback to give to students to move them along. In reading, we just talked a little bit about what kind of professional development was available this year, and that professional development stayed focused on the instructional shifts for ELA teachers. Some things that we still would like to continue to define: standards-based, proficiency, competency work, common formative assessments. That came up a lot in our conversation. Questions: what is available or not in a broader sense of proficiency grading? How can multiple pathways and the district take advantage of any work taking place? And more importantly, how is the work that we're defining here going to get done? Instead of just identifying next steps, what are we actually going to do? Some of our next steps include creating a message for directors about what we need to have happen, that we look specifically at identifying English language arts learning targets. We look into having the third year math conversation, as well as the plan for geometry next year. Start to look more specifically at common formative assessments across our district. Start creating examples of what this all looks like so that teachers have something to really anchor their thoughts around proficiency grading and Common Core work. And then most important need, looking at next 4 weeks, next 8 weeks, next 12 weeks, next 12 months. What is it that we need? How much of that is already identified in our Common Core implementation plans?